which I know sounds fucking nerdy as hell.
No, that's perfect.
But
man.
yeah, for me, it's just great. And I shower. You can shower here. There's the ice baths, and man, it's a fucking.
Because the best gym is, the closest one to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, me, 100%. Like if you're, because it's that friction that you don't have to worry about. It's just right. Okay, get there, done, and know as well with traveling around, like how staying in routines is a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you now focusing on? It's like, do you have any enjoyment in your life? Like other than, is work actually something that you truly enjoy? Are you actually begrudgingly doing it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm fucking loving it, man. I'm just loving who I'm working with.
Yeah.
I've got a big kind of destination, and I know don't sort of chase a destination because it will when you get there it will be something else.
Yeah.
But I have a vision for what I want to build. And it's all coming together, and piece by piece, the foundations are being laid beautifully. So it's just exciting for me. I wake up excited to kind of get to work on it.
So what is the perfect vision that you have? Let's say you could be at a place where you are completely established and you're living wherever. Yeah. What would that look for you? I know this is a podcast that you host. You're the host, but the way I just conversate with other people, I love to ask questions.
Yeah.
So
I remember this, and good to see you again.
Yeah,
by the
good
way.
to see you too.
Yeah, it's great. So it's interesting. The vision that I have, and it sounds quite sort of unspecific, but I won't go into too much detail because I have a very, very kind of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year plan of where I want to get to. But what I see is kind of when the company's made. So a company for me is when you can take yourself out and it runs by itself. So at the moment it's a business, but a company is when you can take yourself out. So it's a company. What I see, I have top of kind of my vision is a beautiful view.
Yeah.
My laptop there.
Yeah. What country?
Well, so I think probably somewhere in Europe.
Yeah.
Greece is kind of my where my heart is.
Yeah. That suits you.
So yeah, beautiful view, beautiful house, outdoors. That's where, and the company running itself. Okay. That's kind of when I feel like that next layer will come.
And what are you doing if the company is running by itself?
So it's more strategy. I guess it's more kind of just tweaking things, SOPs, making sure hires, all of that sort of stuff.
And do you think you'll be working the whole time, like the same sort of lifestyle that you're living now, even in the future?
No, I think it'll be much more. It'll be relaxed and built, and just a machine that I'm very proud of. I can kind of use and dip into.
So do you think if you are, let's say, having dinners with your high network, individuals, let's say you're doing that every day, meeting celebrity, that'll make you feel more fulfilled than what you're doing now?
Potentially. So this is an interesting point.
Yeah.
I think I'm interested in having conversations.
Yeah.
I really love having conversations with people like yourself, like we've had before. I think as long as I can continue to have conversations, but I think the more that's behind you as well, kind of the more doors that opens as well, and the kind of wider scope of conversations that you kind of get to have. So look, I believe it will sort of come on its way, and you can never plan specifically. You can plan to every detail, but the path you take is never the one you actually fully planned. It will be a little bit different. The destination is you usually get there, but the path kind of goes like this. So that's exciting as well.
Yeah.
How about you, sir? What are you up to at the moment? You're absolutely killing it. I saw some of the content you put out.
Yeah, man. I'm in a fucking flow right now. I got my momentum up. I was actually a little struggling like a few months ago because I was just focused on enjoying myself, and then going out, going on dates, and I'm just very happy, enjoying my travel life. And then I started to, when I last talked to you, it was like 2-3 months ago. I was at the starting phase of discipline. I was just telling myself every single day, discipline. I have to get that shit done. And as with all things, it's really hard at the start to really have the momentum. And I'm like anybody else. And now, 3 months in, I'm on day 20 of 75 hard with 2 other friends.
Sick.
And we've got a really great momentum. We talk to each other every single day. We send progress. I've got the fitness sorted in that way. And my business side, I recently hired a personal assistant. And I've never done that before. And so she just comes to my rooftop, and then we just sit there and work together. And that really keeps me accountable to come up with things for her to do.
Yeah.
Before I was struggling, because as self-employed people, it's really hard to motivate yourself to actually have a schedule to stick to.
Yeah.
And that was the missing piece. Having someone to work with.
Yeah.
I was thinking before, I was like, I want to meet people like yourself and then go to a place and work every day together. But then when I knew a lot of people who are high networks or whatever, I didn't have anything to offer to them.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the feeling of like, whenever I asked them, hey, can we meet up and do something? I felt like a leech. And I hate feeling like I'm sucking something out of, what they have.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I'm able to hire someone, and she comes, and I am offering her, whatever she needs, in terms, that's money, in this case. And now it keeps me accountable. I have a schedule. So I'm in a good place right now. Just really happy and immersing myself into this work. I'm in the beginning phase of rolling content out every 2 days or so. It's very intense because I have a high standards in terms of editing and stuff like that. And I never enjoyed work this much.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So personal assistant, I can't see myself without one anymore.
That's awesome, man. Man, it's a huge step, and congratulations. So I guess for people who don't know, what are you doing at the moment? How did you kind of get to exactly where you are? And why did you kind of feel the need to outsource certain things? And when did you realize that you needed to sort of outsource things to this PA as well?
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I am a ghost producer, and I help other people bring their musical visions into reality. And before, I started to get into ghost production because I needed money, right? And then I realized that there are a lot of people who want to be artists, but they just don't know how to make it good. And also, there are two components to this. One, I bring their demos to life and make it a lot better. And two, these people need accountability, accountability coach.
Okay. And
I'm that person for them because you're an artist yourself. You know that you are a perfectionist. So you have high standards for yourself, for your life, for music. And a lot of these people are the same way. And they get stuck. So many people are stuck with the perfectionism, and they just can't get over that step unless someone steps in and says, this is really good. And I made sure that this is up to the industry standard, and it's going to sound comparable to the other songs like that on the billboards or whatever. And when they have that confirmation and someone telling you, hey, you're being too critical of yourself, then they're able to make the step and then actually release it. So now, before I used to be, hey, I wanted to be famous myself, I want to be somebody, but now I'm stepping into more of a mentor role for a lot of other artists. Like yourself too, man. It's very similar how we are moving in that mentoring, helping other people direction. So now I'm building my business in that way. I want to help more people. And once I get too busy, I'm going to hire other people who are great producers. And then they can run their own businesses. I'm going to have the platform. And I want to create a community where these artists, musicians, are coming together and working together, collaborating. And at the same time, they are also sharing ideas in terms of self-help, because that's who I am. I'm a very self-help type of guy. I want to combine the two and make them realize that without self-help, which is very like discipline sort of thing, it's almost like polar opposite to music. Without discipline, you're not going to get stuff done at the speed that it needs to be done at. So right now, it's very competitive, the music industry. Anybody can make music. There's 10,000 songs every single day being released. It's either 10,000 or 100,000. Either way, it's crazy numbers. I can't wrap my head around it. So if you if you're releasing a song like every 2 months because you're like perfecting it, you're not being heard. Like there's no way you're gonna get seen. So I need other people to be disciplined. That's why I'm an accountability coach. At the same time, I'm the quality checker. I can help other people bring their music to the next level they need to be at. Those two things are what I am focusing on. And once I realized that I can't do everything myself, I got the music thing sorted. I know how to release my tracks. I know how to mix and master, produce, sing, or whatever. But it takes a lot of time.
Yes.
And my passion is not being the biggest artist anymore. And now it's more towards helping a lot of other people. That's where a lot of my fulfillment comes from. And for me to do that while keeping up with music so that other people can see that I'm still doing it, I need to be able to delegate a lot of my other tasks.
Yeah.
And combining my self-help abilities and my musical abilities, that's how it's all playing together right now.
Love that, man. So I've got a question for you because, like you said, the kind of the discipline 75 hard side of yourself with the artist kind of more flowy kind of side of yourself as well. It's an interesting marriage.
Yeah.
How do you find yourself with other people that you're working in the industry? How do you find interacting with them? Are people in a similar place to you? Do you attract similar people, or do you find that a lot of the mentoring you're doing is kind of giving a lot more of the discipline to the artists, kind of sort of the business acumen as well, kind of giving them a lot more of that? How do those interactions go, and how do you kind of yourself in the industry? How do you kind of feel you fit into it? Do you feel? I'm curious.
So right now, the artists that I'm working with, they initially came to me because they listen to my work and they enjoy it. So they come to me because of my musicality. And then I slowly seep into the self-help thing. I tell them, hey, you didn't release that track that you made maybe 2 years ago. And he's coming up, I have a client called Clive, and he's a full-time voice actor.
Awesome.
And he is very talented in terms of like rapping and writing melodies. He's so good. And he's very personable too. So he shares a lot of stories that he's going through. And one of the stories that he shared with me is that he's written a song called Lavender Haze. And there's a song by Taylor Swift called Lavender Haze. And he wrote that song way before Taylor Swift came up with it. But he was too self-critical with himself that I don't think I'm good enough with this. So he procrastinated on it. And then a year later, Taylor Swift comes with it. It was inspired by Mad Men, the movie.
Okay.
And it was one of those. It was those stories that inspired me to get those self-help elements understood by the clients. So at the start, we talk about music. It was all business. Hey, they asked me, hey, I want this done. I was like, okay, let me do it. And then they start building a relationship with me. They just out of nowhere tell me that, hey, I'm living in Texas. This is happening. And I tell them about my story. And then they tell me about their struggles. And I realize, oh, shit, these people are struggling with the same things that I'm struggling with. And the fix for that is self-help.
Okay.
So right now, it's 80% musicality talk and 20% self-help talk. I want to bring it up to, I think, 50-50, probably in the future, maybe 60 self-help, 40 musicality, because that's what we are lacking in musician community. A lot of musicians are very flowy and just relaxed and smoking weed and enjoying life way too much.
Yeah.
You know, there's a different way to enjoy life, just like the way you're enjoying your life.
Yeah.
Through hard work, through fulfillment, through doing things that build your life to be better. So that's the direction that I'm headed at.
So what sort of things, those flowy artists, what sort of things do you need to iron out with them because in the music industry, and obviously I have a background in the music industry as well now, it's so much more cutthroat. And you're absolutely right. One of kind of my insights, and I think we probably share this, like you said, you need to be releasing consistently.
Yeah.
It's no longer release an album
And the
once a year.
speed too, man. Many songs.
Get it out.
Yeah.
And the quality is going to be lower.
Yeah.
You know, because of that. But
I actually would argue that point because if you, so Ed Sheeran has this great story. He gave this speech to an audience, and he was saying that he writes 4 to 5 songs a day.
Huh.
The reason for that is he calls it when he's turning on a tap that he hasn't used before. What you're gonna get at the start is mud. You have to get all the bad ideas first, and then you get clear water. It's the same thing with music. What you need to do is you have to get rid of the self-criticism. So just get it out there. If it's shit, cool.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Another one. And you get into the flow, and you build a muscle of writing songs.
Yes.
And you just get better at it, and it becomes so easy. It's like when you, let's say, imagine if Picasso was alive now.
Yeah.
And you hired him for a portrait of yourself. Maybe he's gonna do it in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because he's so good at getting things done.
Yes.
He's done 1,000 paintings, 1,000,000 paintings, that it takes him just 30 minutes to create a masterpiece. It's the same way with writing songs. I don't think the quality is actually going to get worse if you release a lot more songs because your ideas are going to be more clearer. Maybe the finessing of every sound will be a little bit reduced in terms of quality, but I think the idea and the vibe is going to be even better.
That's awesome. That's really interesting, man. And it's funny you bring up Picasso. I believe this is a Picasso story, but Picasso was sat at an event somewhere, and some woman said to him, all right, I'm going to pay you like a huge amount of money for you to paint something for me. I'll let you decide. And he says, okay. And he has his canvas and he just does a circle. He says, there you are. And she says, well, why would I pay this much? That only took you, 5 minutes. Yeah. And he said, no, it took me my whole life. Yeah. And I think that's it might be a completely different artist, but I think that maybe speaks to what you're saying there as well. It's that building that muscle. Exactly right. That when you get to that final point, that mastery, what you're putting out, like Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran's just like what he has done is incredible, man. He's a monster, man. He's a monster. Yeah. He's ridiculous. You don't realize how much money he's making. He's writing Justin Bieber's songs. Yeah. He's writing he's just number one hit after number one hit. Releases an album. He fills the top 10 with an album. Yeah. Like, it's unheard of.
Absolutely crazy.
It's absolutely unheard of.
It's a commonality that I see in a lot of successful artists. For example, Chris Brown.
Yeah.
When I was when I was trying to be a very successful artist, I kept seeing Chris Brown come out with a new song, and he came out with an album that had like 30 songs or something. Okay. And at the same time, he was being featured in 1 billion songs. I think in his discography, I'm 100% sure it's over 500 tracks that he's released. Yeah. As busy as he is, he's in TV shows, he's touring all the time, and he's got women that he needs to attend to. Yeah. And he's also releasing all these songs because he's not self-criticizing too much, and he's gotten very good at writing songs and then just getting it done.
That's awesome, man. I think that's a great advice that anyone could kind of take into any industry. It's build the muscle of whatever you're doing, build the muscle. Understand that your first try at anything is going to be shit. Yeah. But so get it out the way. Don't wait. Just get it out the way. Like I love that analogy you said with the tap water. Yeah. You can't bypass that. You've got to get it out. So just do it, get it out of the way, and then you can kind of get to that next level. With everything that you're doing with 75 Hard at the moment, your discipline. I remember last time I saw you, you showed me a brilliant app where you can track exactly how you're spending all of your time. And I used it, and then I started getting fed up with how long I was spending on a moped. Just going, we were in Vietnam, and it's bing, 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 bing. But yeah, man, so what does the discipline look like for you? What sort of things are you doing / not doing? And how does that affect your mental state? What's your mental state like at the moment? The
biggest thing I realized since then is that I need to work on myself before I go out to the real world every single day. Meaning that I have to do my fitness where I am going through pain. It's very strange, man. Men, we feel better after we went through pain. Mm-hmm. It's like it activates the brain and it kicks in the fight or flight mode, And after that, we're just enhanced and more enlightened. And that is the biggest thing I realized is that once I work on myself in the morning before I talk to anybody or reply to any messages, that's usually in the gym. And when I'm exercising, I'm not thinking about, hey, I need to do one more rep. I'm thinking, I need to increase the capacity of my pain tolerance. So I'm thinking energy levels.
Interesting.
And that actually made me do way more reps than if I were to think about, hey, I need to do one more rep, because you're actually putting a cap on how much you can do. But energy levels, you can't trick yourself, hey, I can take more pain. You know?
That's so interesting.
Yeah. So that's the first thing that I do in the morning. And after that, I'm always in a better mood.
Yeah.
I've never seen a person after a workout who is in a worse mood than they were before. So that's the cornerstone for discipline. And once I can do that every single day, I can basically tackle anything I want afterwards.
Yeah. I love that. So I love that pain threshold thing. It's not something I've heard described like that before. And I find that the gym is more of a mental activity for me than anything else. I sometimes train with people and they're like, right, well, you need to squeeze down here longer. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And it's good when I train with them because they improve my form. But a lot of what I like about the gym is like, right, I'm doing a row. I'm just going to lift it up as many fucking times as I can. And then I'm going to keep doing it. I'll do another set. And for me, I know that's probably not the best for building a certain physique in a certain way, but that's what I get that real like. Then I'll march around the gym listening to whatever I'm listening to, and like that's what I really get a buzz out of. So,
do you enjoy the gym?
Yeah, I love the gym, man.
Yeah, that's good.
I trained in Thailand with a guy called Jack, who really inspired me with the gym. He does some crazy workouts. Like one of the workouts we did was, we're here for an hour. There's a pull-up bar there, or 2 pull-up bars. We're going to walk. The gym was maybe 15 meters, 10 meters across. We're going to walk from one end to the gym to the other, and then back, and then do 5 pull-ups, and then we're going to do it again for an hour.
Oh, shit. That is a real mental struggle.
Mate, but I love that shit, because you are working your body, and it's crazy. Like, you think, well, I'm not, that's so many pull-ups you're doing. But then you get like half an hour in, and I'm like, actually, my form's great. It's got better. And then it goes again, and then these waves, and then you're kind of doing it together. And I was like, do you know what? I love these styles of workout. This is
I
just
always
great
found
fun.
those exercises are so difficult to do if you're by yourself. But if you're working with another person, you're sort of competing and keeping up the pace of the other person. Have you ever done something like that by yourself, like a HIIT exercise?
Yeah, I think it's much harder because you can just dip out when you want, and there's no one there going, "Oh, you motherfucker."
It's not as enjoyable
It's
too.
It's not a challenge as much. So I agree. So obviously you're using the gym as a cornerstone of kind of your mental strength. How are you setting up your days apart from that, and making sure that you're moving towards whatever goals you have in terms of productivity? How do you make sure you hit
So
all of that?
right now my days look like gym in the morning. I wake up at 7 a.m. and I work out until, let's say, 9 a.m. And after that, breakfast, and I work until 9 to 5, I would say 5 or 6. And I just stay in my apartment, or I go to the rooftop. I go to a little cafe if I feel bored of the place, because I would need to be feeling refreshed. I can't be just like, oh, I hate my life. I need to change my environment if I need to. And then after 6 p.m., right now I am enjoying myself. Now I always struggled with relaxation. Like I needed to find a healthy way to relax, and I never could find the answer. Like people, if you Google it, you'll see, go for a walk, read a book. How is that relaxing? That's another mental struggle. Like, like going for a walk is like, it feels too healthy, you know? It doesn't feel like a reward.
I see.
And the reward that I found to be amazing, especially in Bali, is massages. So I get a massage every single day.
Dude.
And there's this new massage that I found. It's not new, but I never gotten this before. It's called shiatsu. And it's very like deep tissue sort of thing. And they step on your back and everything. And they crack my neck. The masseuse yesterday cracked my neck I never been cracked that way before. I just felt like my neck was fluid. My joints were gone, man. It was awesome.
Man, that's such a good thing to be doing. Mate,
every
I haven't
single
had a
day.
massage here yet. In Thailand.
Haven't you?
No. All right, I'm having one later.
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy.
yeah, mate, I didn't realise it was a big thing here because in
Yeah.
Thailand it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You just have to tell them, like, you have to be careful which ones you go to. 'Cause,
Exactly
like,
right.
Yeah.
So I had to.
Yeah.
I asked my personal assistant. She's Indonesian, so
Yeah.
she knows the right places.
Yeah.
And I told her, no happy endings. I want sad endings.
Yeah.
You know, I want to stay. You know,
Peaceful ending. Yeah.
Peaceful endings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a place called Ki Shiatsu place, not too far from here.
Yeah.
I'll send you a couple of
Oh,
places.
perfect. Mate, that's interesting. So it's interesting you said it doesn't feel like a reward, like going for a walk. So
It feels like self-help again. You know?
okay. So what is it that you find helps you to relax then? Like how have you found that the massage particularly is what helps you to just kind of switch off and feel relaxed and I'm interested.
One, it works on all levels, mentally too, because the music is like, it's way too slow. And when you're listening to that for 1 hour, you can't help but feel a little more sleepy.
Yeah.
You know? It helps on that side, and also body-wise, the masseuse is working really onto your muscles after
Yeah.
you're really tense from the workouts.
Yeah.
And my lower back is really tense from all
Yeah.
the squats and all that. So it helps on mentally and also physically as well.
Okay. I'm gonna have to get into massages. Not when I go.
What
back.
about you? What do you do to like relax yourself?
Good question. I'm trying to figure that out as well.
It's hard.
So, yeah.
Nobody figured this out. I don't know anybody who's figured this out.
I have to tell you. I'll tell you one thing that I do, and I try and do it once a week. Is just usually on a Sunday, is just go for a hike and like a proper hike. Go into nature, and ideally away from a lot of people. So I do like a hike. I agree. A walk can be a bit sort of like flippy flappy.
Yeah.
But a hike up a mountain. So where I used to live in the UK, in Wales actually, every Sunday I would go up and climb the same mountain. It was like a 4 or 5 hour round hike. Not easy, not completely strenuous, but not an easy hike by any means. And I used to just do it every Sunday. I wouldn't have a podcast in. It would just be me and my thoughts.
Yeah.
I find it very difficult to, like if I was just going for a walk now here along the beach, I'd probably have something plugged in, some music. Whereas I find if there's a hike, if there's a goal, an end point and a return, that I can allow myself to just be without any other stimulants in.
That's super healthy.
Yeah.
But let me ask you,
Go on.
does that feel like a reward? Or do you feel like, hey, I'm doing something to improve myself?
Yeah.
Because you're still working if that's the case, you know?
Yeah, it's a good point. I guess it does feel like a reward afterwards because of the clarity, I guess, and it helps me kind of solve problems. It's kind of like a filter for the week. Yeah, I think
another way to ask you that question is, what is your reward system? Do you have one in place?
Maybe not.
Right?
Yeah.
Nobody has it, bro.
Yeah.
I talk to all my quote unquote like self-help friends. They're so good at stressing themselves out.
Yeah.
They don't know how to reward themselves when they reach a milestone.
Huh.
Yeah. So a friend of mine that I'm doing 75 hard with, and he's never gone past day 34.
Right.
And this was his 20th attempt. And yesterday he reached the 35. So he freaking broke through that barrier. And I said to him, you need to find a way to reward yourself. You need to celebrate this.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that? And you can't do eating donuts.
Yeah,
you can't be, watching bad things on the internet. Movies, I'm not sure if that feels like a reward. So what is a reward system that is healthy, also makes you legitimately satisfied because you can't trick your brain? Your brain knows if it's a reward or not.
Yeah.
So hard.
Maybe for yourself, I know it's not something I'm doing at the moment, but just playing guitar could be something. I used to play a lot of guitar, and that's like a meditation. I'm sure, like yourself with music as well, it's a meditation when you're doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. It's a really good question. Not something I've asked.
It's worth asking every successful person that you meet, and then ask them, hey, what do you do when you're when you reach the new level? Do you just go out to an expensive restaurant? Like if you're rich, probably doesn't mean much. Do you buy a new car? Does that really feel like a reward to you that much? it's a question that I'm always trying to answer for myself. And right now it's massages.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that, man.
Yeah. Massages are healthy. And also I don't need to work. I don't feel guilty doing it. A lot of things that I do, I feel guilty doing. So it's not really rewarding or relaxing because we have so much pressure on ourselves.
Like, you're right. A donut isn't a reward.
No.
Like it's a dopamine fix, but it's not a
you
reward.
feel guilty too on the inside. You're killing yourself on the inside.
Yeah. So 75 hard, for those who don't know, is, let's see if I can get this, two 45-minute chunks of exercise, follow a diet, take a picture of yourself every day, no alcohol.
No alcohol.
Is there anything else?
No cheat meal.
No cheat meal.
Yes.
Okay.
And you have to drink 1 gallon of water every single day.
Okay. Nice, man. And how are you finding it so far? Why did you decide that challenge particularly?
Because I have a little group that I talk to every single day, a group of friends to keep each other accountable. And I wanted to, because they are in the US and we can't meet up physically, I wanted to find something that we can attack towards. Because we build, as men, we build rapport and relationship and bond as we are attacking a common goal.
Yeah.
And I needed to find something. And he mentioned, hey, I tried 75 hard. If you're struggling with discipline, it might be worth exploring. And I said, well, have you done it? He said, I tried like 15 times, man. It's really hard. I was like, well, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
We call every single day at 7 p.m. and ask them, hey, did you find it easy? What stage are you at? Are you feeling like you're burnt out? And we check on each other, give each other advices. Yeah.
Nice, man. So I like what you said about, obviously, as men working towards a challenge together is something that kind of builds us, brings us together. How do you find meeting people out here, networking, and actually connecting with people who are people who you kind of want to connect with, you're happy to share your time with? How do you go about that?
I am not a great person to answer this question right now because I am in a monk mode. I am focusing on myself and building my business so that when I'm at a certain level, I can offer myself to them as value. And when they meet me, I want other people to be with me and think that, fuck, I'm with him. It feels good. Like I'm getting something out of him just because he's with me.
Okay.
I want other people to be proud of me as friends.
Okay.
And I want to build that person for myself first. So when I look myself in the mirror, I feel so fucking happy. Bro, you're in the top 1% right now.
Okay.
Like nobody looks as good as you. Nobody talks like you. Nobody's as charismatic as you. In the Asian countries, you're probably top 0.001%. You're that motherfucker. I want to say that to myself. And then I can offer that. But I'm doing really well. But I have higher goals and higher standards. And I'm slowly opening myself up in terms of availability to meet up with other people.
I think you're awesome, bro. I think you're fucking, I think your mindset and everything is you're inspiring to be around. What are you building towards then? So what does that look like? You asked me at the beginning of the conversation, what's the big vision? What's the big vision for you? What are you building towards? And it's interesting you had an internal kind of state there that you said you were kind of working towards. So how does that reflect externally as well?
So I never thought about who I really wanted to be and what my perfect life would look like. I asked that question to you in the beginning. I went on a lot of dates 3 months ago, something like that.
I remember when I saw you.
I was on so many dates, man. It was a rabbit hole. And this is something, I'm dropping games right now. I'm going to drop some game. There's someone there.
Hello? Clap it out.
So what happened was I was on a lot of dates 3 months ago, and this little thing I do with girls. It's not manipulative.
Careful.
I realized that when the girl can see herself with you in the future, she's more likely to take you seriously and more favorable towards you.
Okay.
So it's called future projection.
Right.
You know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I asked them, hey, what does your perfect life look like? Where do you want to live? Do you want, let's say you're 35 or 38. Do you have kids? How many kids do you have?
Yeah.
And then as she's answering the question, I sneak myself in there. Well, I don't want 2 kids. So I want 3 kids. Like, hey, we should wake up at 8 a.m. instead of like 7 a.m. That's way too early. You know, I sneakily do that.
Okay.
And one of those girls asked me back, what does your fantasy life, like perfect life look like? And I never actually really thought about it. And it actually looked quite bland when I was answering it. And there's this guy called Wes Watson.
Yes.
Yes, and he's a former prison inmate who came out after 10 years of prison life, and he became super duper disciplined, and he wakes up every single day at 2:45 a.m., which is insane. He has never broken that rule for 10 years, he says. 15 years now. It's insane. Like, he's never broken it. Anyways, so my life looked like a milder version of Wes Watson. I want to wake up at 7 a.m. and I want to work on my stuff. I feel happy if I'm working on something because I have so much guilt building up if I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
If we go to a club together, I will probably feel better that I'm with you hanging out than like other girls or other friends. But at the same time, still, I feel guilty. Like, why am I not building my business? I'm not the man that I want to be yet.
Yeah.
So when I describe my dream life, it looked like wake up in the morning, 7 a.m., get work done, have breakfast, and I was about to say something sexual, but no. and then work on my business. Lunchtime comes and I meet my friends who are successful.
Yeah.
And then I come back home at 5 p.m. and then relax, spend time with family, and then repeat all over again.
That sounds beautiful.
At a place where it's peaceful, like Greece sounds really good.
Yeah.
Bali, I love Bali.
Yeah.
Dubai sounds nice. I've never been there. I'd love to go. So my life looked quite bland, but at the same time, it's more minimal, but at the same time, it's luxurious because I'm networking with high network people.
Yeah.
So it's got combinations of everything that I like.
Yeah, I love that, man. And I think it's, as men, there's something to be, it's nice that you're saying that and not like, I'll have this watch and I'll have this and this. It's like, it's the peace. It's the peace and also sense of purpose.
Yeah, sense of purpose for sure.
So the word orgasm, the word orgasm in French means mini death. And what men, the masculine, is often seeking is this sense of like death. And that's what we kind of find completion in. It's like a mini death is called an orgasm. And it's the same with like completing a goal. It's like a mini death. And that's kind of what drives the masculine. Having a beer is also seen as like a mini death. I've taken that from Way of the Superior Man, David Dieter. But yeah, it's interesting that I think as men, we need that sense of purpose and also that kind of sense of completion and it's over. And we're like, that's why guys, they will, if they haven't got a vehicle like a business to get that sense from, that's why they'll sit in front of the TV and watch sports and drink a beer. Yeah. It's a sense of death. It's the sense of just your brain off, that peace, that complete off. We're searching for that. As a masculine, we're searching for that. And there's healthy ways to do that. And there's ways that, there's different ways to do it, and they produce different results. So yeah, man, I really like that. And I think that sounds like a, perfect kind of day. Do you want kids?
I definitely do, yeah. Maybe 3 children.
Nice.
I heard that if you have 3 children, if 2 are fighting, you can have 1 person that's mediating between the 2. It could go really wrong where 2 people, like 2 kids, gang up on 1. You know?
Okay, yeah.
And then just like bully 1. I've seen that happen, but I'm pretty confident in myself that I can parent the right way.
You're a good parent, and they just look after themselves. You've got 3 of them.
But I'm not going to lie, man. Like, seeing Andrew Tate.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to bring Andrew Tate to this.
Let's bring Tate in.
So seeing him, he's like talking about having multiple wives and having a gang of children, like 20 or something like that. If I become like really awesome, man, I'm not sure. Like, maybe I want a gang of children too, that I've been like, I bring an army in and when we have a family, when we have a family outing, it's like
just you in the front, your army behind,
and then ladies, they stay on this side, and we protect them and all that.
I agree. There's something appealing about that idea of having just. I think that's kind of the male urge to dominate and win and kind of conquer, that's kind of what that looks like.
Yeah.
And it's you spreading your seed. Like there is, and I think like we spoke about before we turned the camera on, we spoke about like having your kind of your dark and your light and knowing what to control, but also you're only as powerful as your dark side, like that you can't have one without the other. Like it's interesting to know kind of what parts of that you should kind of allow to fuel you. And maybe I'm not going to say that I don't think that that's somewhat like appealing, this idea of this building this huge empire.
Yeah.
But I think you have to get to I think a big problem is guys who are just like your average Joe, whatever. They're saying, that sounds kind of arrogant, but like you have to be like Attila the Hun. You have to be the Sultan. You have to be like that level in order to kind of even justify that a little bit. You know, you can't be someone who's just like, oh, I'm like laying bricks and also I'm going to have 5 wives.
Yeah.
Like, because you can't, the reason you get that is because you provide so much financial support, stability, like everything is taken care of completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it has, like you said, you have to get to that stage to even.
How many kids do you want?
Great question. I want my army, bro.
You want an army too?
I really want. Right, she needs to fuck off. I really want twins. We'll wrap it up after this. Yeah, I really want twins. My cousins are twins, and they're absolutely killing it because they kind of have that competitive edge against each other.
Okay, nice.
So
how do you call that the twins?
I'm just going to make sure I tell my wife that I have twins.
Okay,
Bro,
nice.
I think someone else wants to get in the studio, but
Beautiful.
I appreciate having you. It's so good to see you again, and I look forward to continue to have these chats as we're both
Build it up.
working hard, and you're absolutely smashing it, so I appreciate you.
Fuck it, man.
Good stuff, brother.
That's good
That was
talk.
awesome, man.